All right. Project Hail Mary is directed by Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, filmmakers and people in the industry that are very clever and they definitely know what they're doing. Even if you don't really like the things that they make, it's pretty obvious that they know how to work within the studio system, and they're able to take these ideas that may sound basic or boring on paper and turn them into something that's actually has some personality and is able to shine through from what a cliche idea on paper would be like. I was able to see this film a little bit early. I went to a 70mm screening. The 70mm looked beautiful. There's a lot of formats that you can actually watch this film in. While this was shot on film, this film was also shot with the IMAX aspect ratio in mind, which if you've ever seen a movie in the full IMAX expanded ratio, it's amazing, so I definitely do recommend doing that. And I will be doing that later. I will be watching this film again in a format where I can do that. However, I do really recommend seeing it in 70mm if you can, because the film, it really captures a lot of the essence of some of the scenes in space so much better. It captures color super well. This is a really beautiful looking film. This film was not perfect and I had a lot of issues with it, but overall, I was really impressed with just how theatrical this movie was. Like, this is a film that I recommend, like, make out time in your week. I would recommend seeing this in a theater. This is definitely a film that you want to see in a theater. This isn't a film that you want to wait for streaming on. Go to a premium format if you can. Every film out there is going to advertise that it's a cinematic experience, but when they say that with something like this, it actually is. So to get into the actual movie, I'll start with some of the things I liked. First of all, I think this film is shot pretty well. There's a lot of interesting movement of the camera. There's lots of variety in the shot composition. There were some cool choices to have the camera do like kind of a spinning effect in the space scenes. I thought that was very mesmerizing to watch. It was very fluid and it just fit the immersion. It fit the theme of space very well, and I thought it was very immersive with the character. This film also has a non-linear structure, and this isn't a spoiler as this is in the trailer, but there are scenes that take place on Earth and scenes that take place in space. And if you watch the film in IMAX, then this will be highlighted by the different aspect ratios. So if I'm remembering correctly, the scenes on Earth will be in 239, and the space scenes will be in either 190 or 143, whatever the IMAX is that you go to. And I am interested to see how the aspect ratio changes in the film affects some of the framing of the scenes, but I don't really think it'll change my opinion of it much. I think the choice for a non-linear structure in the film worked in its favor very well. There are some dialogue-less sequences in the film that actually kind of reminded me of some scenes in 2001. Just very beautiful, and again, that's why I recommend just seeing it on 70mm if you have the opportunity, like a theater near you. It just looks amazing. And I'm sure IMAX, even IMAX digital, will look great too. I thought the sound design of this film was also really good. Obviously, there's lots of, being just a big movie in general, there's just lots of opportunities for big, expansive sound design, which I thought all worked great. It was a very immersive film. However, I do have two nitpicks when it comes to sound design. There are probably only things that bother me and like maybe 0.0001% of people that watch movies, but I'm just going to point it out anyways. There was a sequence where it's like recorded footage. It shows Ryan Gosling's character recording footage, and inside the film, the audio is just kind of mismatched. So like basically to put it into perspective, the footage has a bit of kind of some filter, like it's kind of made to look like it's filmed on a different device. That's obviously not like the camera that the film is being shot on per se. It's like a camera, like a handheld camcorder that the character is using, which that looks fine. However, the sound design choices, there doesn't seem to be a distinction between the sound that's in the actual film's universe and the video, which that's a problem because a camcorder would not be able to capture sound properly. It's like he wasn't recording with like a mic or a boom mic attachment. Like that's not how audio works. It wouldn't sound seamless. And also I recall around like the 50-minute mark, there was a really horrible jump scare. I mean, come on, it's just a shitty jump scare. Didn't add anything to the film. It just could have been taken out, but you know, it's there. It only happened once. There was only like one bad jump scare at least, so it could have been more. But you know, it's just something that kind of takes me out of it a little bit. I liked Ryan Gosling's character a lot in the movie. He was able to show a lot of emotion. He had a wide range of emotions he was able to show. And I like how they made the choice to keep his character vague. They didn't spend time over explaining his character, just kind of have like sappy scenes, like making you feel bad for this guy. They keep it vague, and I feel like that choice heavily impacted the film. I also really enjoyed Sandra Hüller. I think that's how you say her name. I really enjoyed her in the film. She's a nice presence. She's a very talented actress. It's cool to see her and stuff, obviously. Overall, the editing in this film is pretty good. There were a couple moments towards the beginning I was a little bit hesitant about the editing. I'm like, ooh, some of these scenes are kind of cutting a little too quickly. I don't know how I feel about that. It either grew on me throughout the film, or it was just something that was only really present in the opening scenes, but that was just something I picked up on. The music in the film was all used very appropriately. It wasn't overused. It sounded great, and I think it heavily impacted the scenes on an emotional level, and it just made the film more exciting. Alright, now and to talk about some of my issues I had with the film. Thankfully, they're things I can kind of keep spoiler-free. Since I did see the film early, and I do intend to get this video out before the film gets a wide release, I'm obviously just going to keep it spoiler-free. But this film, and like if you know the people who directed the film, I guess it might not be surprising, but this film was very comedic, and I think that helped it in a lot of ways. This film was funny in a lot of scenes. There was like genuine laughs in the film. However, that said, I think there are too many jokes. I think this film is like a little bit too joke heavy in some scenes. Like I think some scenes just kind of need to have jokes trimmed out a little bit. There's certain scenes, like I mentioned that 2001-esque scene, but the scene ends with a joke, and like, yeah, the joke was funny, but like, I was like, oh man, I was like really immersed like in that scene, and I feel like I was kind of pulled out by that joke, even though it was funny. Like, and unfortunately, this isn't really a minor flaw, as this happens a lot throughout the film, and I think that's just like my main complaint, is that there's too many jokes in the film. Like, it is funny, and I do appreciate that it took this is a film that has a concept that's inherently silly. It's a concept that has been done a lot, so I appreciate the comedic route it took. However, I do kind of had to bring that up into my overall rating of the film, because I think it did detract from some moments in the film. Kind of another glaring part of the film was that I wasn't really a huge fan of the dialogue in this film. I felt a lot of the dialogue writing was very cheesy, and I'm obviously a person that can handle a little bit of cheese in my movies. However, I feel like in this film there's a lot of telling rather than showing. Like, you know, it kind of suffers from the Nolan problem, where the film kind of feels cold and it's kind of just explaining things instead of showing, which part of that is kind of the main character, Ryan Gosling's character, like his aspect of discovery, but I don't know. It kind of suffers from a problem where he's repeating the things he's seeing and touching and interacting with on screen. He's like let's say, for example, let's say he picks up a water bottle. He's like, oh, I found a water bottle on the ship. Like, there's stuff like that happens in the that's exaggerated. It's not that bad. I just feel like there are some moments in the film where I feel like it's a bit dumbed down in some ways, and I wasn't really a huge fan of that. But I do overall recommend this film very much. It's a film I think pretty much most people will enjoy. It's a very cinematic film, which I think is definitely something that should be sought out after in premium formats if you can. IMAX, 70mm, fuck it, probably Dolby is pretty good. I mean, yeah, this is a film you want to see in a premium format. It's really enjoyable, and I had a lot of fun with the film. This film was 2 hours and 30 minutes long. I didn't really feel its runtime. I thought the runtime was very appropriate. There wasn't really any fat in the film. I thought it was just a very enjoyable, solid watch. I'm going to be checking out this film again in IMAX when I get the chance, and for now, I think I'm going to give it a very high 7 out of 10. That could change to an 8 out of 10, maybe, if I like it more on a rewatch, but we'll just have to see what happens. So I'm leaving it at a high 7 out of 10 for now. That's all I have to say about this film. If you like what you see, then hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. I'll be making a lot more videos of this nature coming soon, so please stay tuned for more. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.